If you've ever felt that wave of anxiety and turned to the internet for help, you've probably felt like you're standing in the middle of a really loud, confusing room. There's just this sea of advice out there, and so much of it promises some kind of quick fix. So let's dive in and try to cut through some of that noise. One search and boom, you're hit with this wall of commands. Grab some salt, put an ice pack on your neck, say these 6 magic words. It's a lot. And honestly, it's pretty confusing. They all promise this instant off switch for a feeling that can be completely overwhelming. But these hacks, they really miss the bigger picture. And that bigger picture, it involves a huge number of us. Just look at this number, 31.1%. That's how many adults in the US will experience an anxiety disorder at some point. So if this is you, please know you are so far from alone. This isn't some rare glitch. It's a really common part of being human. Which brings us to the big question we're tackling in this explainer. In a world that is obsessed with instant solutions, what truly helps us manage anxiety? Not just for a minute, but in a real, lasting way. And, well, the answer might surprise you. It's a little counterintuitive. So before we can even talk about what works, we first have to get a handle on what we're working with. And the first, most important thing to know is this. Anxiety isn't just one thing. It's not one size fits all. It really exists on a spectrum.
All right, so let's just walk through these 5 levels. First, you've got minimal. Think of it like background noise. It's there, but you're still getting things done. Then there's mild, which might show up as, a little muscle tension or a stomach ache before a party. When you get to moderate, it starts messing with your sleep, your appetite, that constant on-edge feeling. At the severe level, the physical stuff, like chest tightness, can feel pretty constant, and you might find yourself avoiding people. And then, at its most debilitating, it can feel like a near-constant struggle, making it hard to even leave home. Just seeing where you might land on this can be a really powerful first step.
So what is actually happening in our brains when we feel all this? Why does our body react in these ways? Well, it's time to meet the part of your brain that's basically hitting the just-in-case panic button, your amygdala. So the amygdala, it's this tiny, ancient part of our brain. The best way to think of it is like your own personal smoke detector. It's incredibly fast, it's not very smart, and its only job is to scream fire, to trigger that fight or flight response whenever it thinks there might be danger. And as psychotherapist Joshua Fletcher puts it so perfectly, its whole philosophy is a just-in-case mentality. See, its goal isn't to be right. Its goal is to keep you alive. It would much rather give you 100 false alarms than miss one real fire. Let me give you a few examples. Have you ever had that dream where you feel like you're falling or tripping off a curb and your whole body just jerks you awake? Yep, that's your amygdala. It's jumping in just in case that dream curb was a real cliff. It doesn't wait around to find out. Or, okay, think about watching a horror movie. Logically, you know you're safe on your couch. But when the monster jumps out, your heart still starts pounding, right? That's your amygdala firing off just in case that monster could actually get through the screen. And here's a classic one. A friend jumps out from behind a corner to scare you, and you flinch. Instantly. For that split second, your body is flooded with adrenaline, ready to go, just in case it was a real attack. That's the amygdala doing its thing. Super fast, totally instinctual, and not a whole lot of deep thought involved. Okay, and this right here, this brings us to the most important and maybe the most mind-bending part of this whole conversation. The big twist is that our desperate attempts to fix or just get rid of that anxious feeling, they can actually be the very thing that's keeping us stuck. This table lays it out so clearly. Look at the left side, the feeling. Your heart starts pounding. So what's the fix on the right? You start doing these frantic deep breaths to make it stop. Your thoughts are racing, so you're immediately Googling symptoms. You feel that urge to escape, so you just avoid the situation altogether. Every one of these fixes, these compulsions, they send a loud and clear message back to your primitive little amygdala, and that message is, this feeling is dangerous, we have to get rid of it now. And that is the crucial point. When we start treating the feeling of anxiety itself like it's the enemy, we create this vicious cycle. Your amygdala, which is always watching out for you, learns that the sensation of a pounding heart or racing thoughts is the threat. So it becomes even more sensitive, more ready to sound the alarm, and you get stuck in a cycle of being afraid of the fear itself. So if fighting it and trying to fix it just makes it worse, what in the world are we supposed to do? Well, the answer is in this really powerful shift in our approach. Instead of trying to eliminate the feeling, we can practice something called willful tolerance. And this slide shows exactly how we can reframe all that common advice. Let's take exercise. Its real power isn't to kill anxiety, but to get you present in your body and lower that physical tension. Or look at listing hypotheticals. The goal isn't to magically erase your worries. It's to make them solid and tangible, so you can actually look at them clearly. You see? These aren't magic fixes. They're tools to help you learn to sit with the discomfort, to tolerate it, instead of always running away from it. All right, let's bring this all home to our final section, which is maybe the most empowering takeaway of all. It's a really simple but profound idea that turns the focus away from all the external hacks and puts it right back on you. You are the coping technique. Just think about it for a second. Your ability to get through every single difficult, anxious moment you've ever had proves that you have a 100% success rate at tolerating discomfort. The real power isn't in a breathing exercise or a supplement or an ice pack. Those are just tools. The real foundational strength is your own proven, innate ability to endure a feeling and come out on the other side. So the goal isn't to somehow become anxiety-free. The goal is to become a better friend to yourself when anxiety shows up. It's about compassionately allowing that feeling to just be there, knowing deep down that you have the strength to handle it. Which really just leaves us with one last question to think about. How will you practice being your own friend today?